So we are doing bar today. So you will want some light weights. It's cold in my apartment, so I try to warm up my feet a little bit with these socks. So we'll see how that goes. Light weights meaning 5 pounds, 3 pounds. Either one will work. I'm going to go ahead and back this camera on up just a little bit more, just so you guys can get a full view of what's going on, along with my face. So now I'll remove the cat toy. I kept it cold enough to where he might stay out of here for a little bit. So let's start by warming up. We're gonna come on nice down and low and reach on up. So those arms are just reaching straight up here. Nice, easy warm up. So, and I don't think my music usually works anyways. I still have to figure it out how to do it through Zoom. But in the meantime, play whatever you would like to play and listen to my soothing voice in the background. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, one more, all the way up, and then come on back down and hold it nice and low. You can place the hands on the hips. You can hold them out to the side, whatever you would like to do. We're just gonna come up an inch and down an inch right here. So we're just going up a little bit and then back down. So it's a nice little pulse here. So just warming up those leg muscles here. So you should feel a nice little burn in the quads. Keep that belly tucked up and under, those tails tucked up and under. Or 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, come on up. We're gonna warm up the upper body just a little bit here by doing some plank walkouts. So nice and low, and then walking back up. I'm gonna tuck that part of my shirt in so it doesn't come up. So we're walking straight out and back up. Nice and easy here. Give me a couple more, just like this. Again, we're just warming everything up, nice and easy. Last one, let's get one more of these in here. Right here, and we're just gonna hold it down nice and low, right here. I want you to tuck in opposite knee, opposite arm. So we're bringing that knee up to that opposite elbow here, warming up that core a little bit, twisting the body. Make sure you're breathing. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make sure they're even on both sides before dropping to the knees and stretching out in the child's pose. Very gently, we're going to rise on up, and we're going to go into some upper body. So let me get my timer going, because without music, I need a timer. So we're going to start with some light hand weights here. So I'm going to lift the camera up just a little bit so you guys can see it fully. So find a weight that you feel is light enough for you. I'm going to use some 5s here. So we're going to start with simple bicep curls, all the way up, all the way down. So nice and easy. And find weights that are going to be light enough that you can hold this for at least a minute or so, maybe 2 or 3. Usually we do a full song. So if that helps, you pick your playlist for today. So we're just curling up and down, all the way down, all the way up. So we're extending those arms all the way down, curling all the way up. And our elbows are out to the side, so we're curling to the side. So usually a traditional bicep curl will be to the front, but we're coming here to the side for now. That sounded very ominous, but for now, we'll stay here. So give me a few more just like this. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those arms halfway up, halfway down. So we're going up towards the front now. So those arms are no longer going outwards. We're coming up. We're only coming halfway up, half all the way down. So we're coming up to that 90-degree, all the way extend right here. So it's a nice little pulse that we have here. Make sure you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth the whole time. Don't hold your breath. Good, keep it going. We are pulsing and pulsing. So halfway up, halfway down. It's a nice little lower head of the bicep here that should be working. Just a nice little half curl here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Turn those arms back out. We're flushing them out. So full extension here. I know those arms are getting tired. Mine are too. If you have to drop down to the 2s or a 5, drop down to those. I warned you ahead of time. We'll be here for a couple minutes. So we're almost there though. Almost there. So flushing out those arms, going all the way down, all the way back up. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll come up a little closer here. So we're going halfway down, all the way back up. So we're just doing the exact opposite of what we were doing before. You may feel this a lot in that upper head of the bicep. And that's exactly where we want you to feel it. At any time, you can bring the arms, wiggle them out. It doesn't matter. Just get right back here with us. We're almost there. Those biceps should be screaming. Come on. So we're going halfway down, all the way up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Release, wiggle them out. Biceps feel all right? We're going to go right into triceps. So I'm going to lift this up just a little bit more. Good old mat cameras here. So it's hard to see. Then we're going to take our weights. We're going to bring them up. So we're dropping back behind us. So we're doing overhead tricep extensions here. Now we're going to start with full range. So make sure that those arms are extending all the way up and coming all the way down here. So that elbow should be at a full bent angle. And those elbows are also close to the face. We want it close to the face. Me and my timers. So we're here and here. So the best part about Barre, in my opinion, is that we get to work these muscles to a further extent than just the strength part. So we never talk too much about muscle endurance, and this is exactly what we're testing out here today. This is exactly what we're practicing, what we're working on. Make sure you breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're almost there. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to hold that weight back there. I'm going to turn right here so you guys can see, and we're just going to pulse. Pulse. So you're pulsing those arms back behind you, so you're not coming all the way out. We're just staying right here, nice and small. Working those smaller muscles right here. So you're almost coming up an inch, down an inch right here. Make sure you're breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Either put those weights down, let the arms rest, and find a lighter set of weights, or you can keep it the same weight. I'm gonna walk a little closer to the camera. I'm gonna grab my 2s. What we're gonna do is we're gonna place the hands inside the weights just like this, turn them, place them behind us. We're gonna be right here. So you're gonna bring those weights together. So they're doing this, but behind your back. So we are squeezing those triceps back behind us. Right here. So you need those triceps to be extended all the way out, and you're squeezing. Now it's not going to feel like a lot right now, but you're going to feel it right in those triceps here in a second. Make sure you're breathing. You got a nice light grip on those weights. Don't death grip them, but nice light weights. So just let them rest in your hands as you bring them back and together. So we're squeezing, squeezing, squeezing to those triceps for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, stay right in that same position. All you're doing is lifting them upwards. So all you're doing is lifting up, but with those triceps. So keep them extended back there. I know they burn. We're almost at that mark. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring it down. Keep those lighter weights if you want. We're going to go into some shoulders. So we're getting all the arm stuff up and out of the way before we go to legs. Leg is always the worst, I feel, for bar. But we got some good shoulder stuff going on here. So your first thing you're going to be doing is you're going to bring those weights up, out, and down, just like that. So it's a nice little fluid motion here. If you want, you can even add like a sumo squat to that. And that's if you want, or a plié squat if you want. That is totally up to you. But I want you to squeeze those arms back behind you. You may feel a little cardio take place here. Totally fine. So if you're adding in that sumo squat, make sure that those toes are facing outwards. I know you can't see mine at the moment, but the most important part is this upper body. So if you're just standing and just doing the upper body, we're right here. And squeeze. Squeeze, good. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Hold those weights up. Flip that grip. So your grip is facing upwards, like here. We're going to lift and lift, lift. So you see how light that grip is for me? I can wiggle and move my fingers. We're not death gripping these. We're just doing a nice little lift and lift. You may feel those shoulders start to burn, and that's totally okay. Let them burn, let them burn. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. I want you to wiggle out those arms for me really fast. Just wiggle them out, wiggle them out. We are going to then take, sorry, we're not going to take them here. We're going to press back. So now we're out. I want you to tilt those fingers up so the pinkies are facing the ceiling. So we're here. I'll come up nice and close, and we're going to lift, lift, lift. So we're lifting those weights right here. Now, if those weights are still too much, you can still do it without weights, and you'll get the same effect. So we're here, just lifting. So it's a nice little tiny pulse right here. I know it's a lot on the shoulders. I'm breathing heavy. We're just pressing it out and press, 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 press. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring those weights on down. Wiggle out those arms. Wiggle them out. Wiggle them out. We're going to do a nice little stretch really fast while they're still warm. It's the same way that we do it with the legs. So bring those arms up and around. Bring one up and over. Tilt to one side if you would like. Good. Wiggle that one out. Switch sides really fast. All right. And lift up and over. Pressing down on that elbow. Make sure you're breathing. Lift up and over. Big arm circles here. One to the front, one to the back. Wiggle out those arms. Tell them it's going to be all right, that you're done. We're going to go ahead and go into lower body. So the fun part. The last 15 minutes of torture here. So all I did was move up the camera just a little bit. So you should only be able to see my lower body for the most part of it, which is all that you need to be able to see. So we're going to start in a nice first position here. We're going to rise up on those toes, bring the feet together just like that. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see the knees. But all we're going to do is come down nice and slow, up, nice and slow. So you're nice and high up on those toes, right on the balls of the feet. That's where we are. Oops. Set my timer up. So we're still here, nice and easy. So those knees are going to go over the toes. And that's fine because we are going into more of a parallel or narrow squat here. And it's almost physically impossible for those knees to stay behind the toes. So don't worry too much about that. Now, if you do start feeling any sort of knee pain, for sure, come down off of those toes and try some regular squats first. You might need to stretch out a little bit more than how we did in the warm-up. So we're still here, coming up all the way. So we're doing a full movement right now. We're about to enter into our pulses here. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it down here. Nice and low. We're going to pulse. So it's almost like a little small bounce, but more controlled. So we're coming up a little bit, down a little bit. So that's the best way to kind of think about it. When you're doing this, at any time the ankles are feeling a little weak, bring them down, hop back up. It's okay to reset. Resets are totally fine, especially when we're doing these small isometric movements, because we're continuously working that muscle. Like I said at the beginning of class, we're working muscle endurance here, not muscular strength, which is where you'd be lifting a whole bunch of weight at one time. We're seeing how long can these muscles work for. We got it right here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay up on those toes. We're just coming right back through that full motion here. At any point, you can always use a chair. So, for example, especially since we're recording, I want to be able to show you guys. If you need to use a chair at any point, here's how you would do it if you need that. So that's always an option. It's always there for you. But if you want more of a challenge, it's this right here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Go ahead and pick a leg, any leg. We're going to step back into a lunge here. We're going to come halfway up, halfway down. So we're going right into those lunge pulses right here. Nice and easy, nice and quick. Again, the option to hold on to something is always there. You can have it right here. We're doing just a nice little pulse. Nice and small here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it down here. We're going to tilt at the hips, placing the hands right on that thigh, not on the knee, not up here on the hip, right in the middle of the thigh. We're going to lean forward, bring one foot up and back. So we're bringing it up and back. Again, if you would rather hold on to a chair instead, here's what you can do. As long as it doesn't have wheels, you could be right here as well. That is all up to you, or you're here with us nice and low. You can also put a pillow here. But I want all of that weight in that standing leg, and we're just barely touching the floor with that extending foot here. So it's like more of a tap, 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 tap. Nice and easy right here. So we're still sitting down in those glutes, down in that hamstring. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very gently stand up, and we're going to switch that leg. So now we're on the other side. We're back to those pulsing lunges. Nice and easy here. Hands can be on the hips. They could be holding on to something. If you want, have it off to the side. Totally fine. Completely fine option. So we're coming up an inch, down an inch. If you need to make adjustments, just like how I just did, make your adjustments. If it does not feel correct or you feel like you have some sort of pain going on, feel free to adjust it. It might just be your foot, positioning. We want to make sure that those knees are staying over or behind the toes, so those knees are not going over the toes. So we're pulsing here. Let's give it another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that hand again on that thigh. We're bringing those legs in and out. So it's a nice little tap. Again, you can hold the chair as well, as long as it doesn't have wheels. Feel free to use a chair or a nearby couch or something too. That's fine. Like the arm of my couch right there would probably be fine. So we're tapping back and back, front and back. So that toe is just barely touching the floor. So think of it almost like a pick up, pick up, pick up, and pick up right here. All that weight's in that standing leg. We're sitting back in that glute. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring it on up. Bring it on up. That was a whole 6 minutes of just legs, nonstop. I'll keep the chair nearby. All right. So let's hit those outer thighs before we make our way down to the floor for some core and a little bit of inner thigh action here. So we're going to start with that same positioning of rising up on those toes, bringing those heels together. We're going to come down into a nice low position again. If you would like to have a chair nearby, optional. You're here or you're here. You're going to bring those knees in together and then back out. Now, bonus points if you guys have an exercise band that can go across your thighs, feel free to add that. It adds a little extra to this. And if you are using the exercise bands, just make sure you place it above the knees. If not, we're right here, opening and closing. So we're squeezing through those hip flexors to open up those legs and using them back to close them in. So sitting back, tail is tucked, so everything is nice and straight. So when you're up, everything is here, nice and straight. We're not hunched over. We're not leaning back. We're nice and straight. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold those legs out. We're going to do a small little pulse out, out. So they're already out, right? I want you to try to push them just that little extra inch back, back. So you're consistently contracting that hip flexor muscle that's right up in there in those glutes. So you may feel it a little bit more on the outer thigh or the outer glute area. So we're pressing, 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 pressing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring it on down. You won't need your chairs anymore if you were using them. I'm going to readjust the camera one more time. Lots of camera adjustments for Barre. I'm going to adjust it down here to the floor. We're going to make our way down to the floor. Bring our timer with me. And we're just going to do a quick set of leg stretches here before we go. Ooh, hamstrings are tight. Before we go into our abs and a little bit of glute and inner thigh work here. So go ahead and stretch forward while the legs are still nice and warm. Very gently rise up. One big reach up and over, trying to grab the toes, the ankles, the backs of the thighs, whatever you can get a hold of. Just don't grab on the knees. And if you want, you can even walk the knees just here a little bit. If you're stretching forward, the toes can be pointed or flexed. So almost combine the two words. Whichever one feels more comfortable to you, obviously. I prefer you guys to do that. You know, so don't put yourself in a weird position that you get hurt or anything like that. Remember to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Let's hit some inner thigh. So if you do have weights or light weights, like I have a 2 and a 5 that I started class with, we're going to lay off to our side here. And we're going to bring one foot up and over in front of us. So this thigh right here, this leg, we're going to place that weight right on that inner thigh. So it's going to sit right here, right on that thigh. We're going to bring that leg up and over. and we're gonna lift. If you would like to, you can hold the weight there, like underneath here, just to lift and to lift. It's nice and easy. You can even bring it down to the knee, no worries. It will stay. It's gonna be a bit of a balancing act, but that's where it stays. It's right here. So even if you wanna keep some light fingers on it, we're right here. So we're lifting and lifting. So I have one finger holding that weight in place. And if you even want to, you don't have to add the weight. You can place it off to the side and still lift that leg on up. This is just if you want a little bit extra of a challenge, you may have to hold it there, that's all. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, keep that weight nearby if you would like. All we're gonna do is flip to all fours. Now that same leg, so for me, it's my back leg here. I'm gonna take that weight, that same weight, and place it in between the knee and the thigh. So I'll show you guys on the other leg. So that's where I'm placing the weight at. And then we're gonna squeeze just like that, okay? So I'll turn this way so you guys can see the working leg. So we're gonna be here, squeezing it right here so that extra weight is there. Feel free to add more than 3 pounds. We're gonna bring it in and then back up. So that foot is gonna have to be flexed because if it's pointed or you're kind of, my ballet teacher would call it dead fishing, the foot, where it just kind of looks a little lifeless, you're not gonna be able to hold that weight into place and it's gonna get a little difficult. Now, if you feel like a pinching of the tendon in the back of the knee, which sometimes people do say that they feel, just readjust or lighten that grip just a little bit. That weight's not going anywhere, it'll sit right there in between that crease of the thigh and the calf. So again, flexing that foot up. So we also don't want to death grip the weight here with the leg. So we're tucking all the way into the chest, all the way back out. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up there. We're going to pulse up to the ceiling. So it's just a small movement. I want you to engage that glute though, and that hamstring. So anyone who's interested in lifting heavier weights and getting your deadlifts right, your squats right, you're gonna have to build these smaller muscles here to help out. I promise you, you'll see an improvement. So these are always really great to do at least once a week or once every other week. And no exercise is more girly or manly than another. So you guys gotta work your hamstrings, even the small little muscles of them. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, bring it on down. We're gonna switch sides really fast here. So no worries, this is all the glutes and inner thigh work that we're doing here. So I'm just readjusting. So I flipped, taking that weight, if you want, holding it right here on that inner thigh and lifting. Now I have a very nice light grip holding it here. If your weight is big enough, it might actually just sit on the thigh as well. So we're just lifting. So that foot is not coming down to a rest, it's staying up. This is its resting position. So see how it hovers over the floor? That's what we want. Now, whether you flex or point the toe, completely up to you. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Do what challenges you. And we'll be here for just a couple more seconds. Again, this can be done without the weight, and you just lift, or you can hold that weight there very slightly, very gently. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We are going to flip on over to all fours and do that exact same thing again. So I'm placing it right here behind the thigh, flexing the foot, moving the other weight out of the way so I don't injure myself, and then we lift. So we're tucking it all the way into the chest and back up. So I thought today for the abs too, once we get there, that we would add some weights today. So once we're done with these, keep those light weights or your 5s or your slightly heavier ones nearby. We will get into those in a second. So again, that foot is going to be flexed. If you start to feel any sort of like pinching or anything behind the thigh, just readjust and then get right back into it. Loosen that grip up a little bit on holding that weight there, making sure that foot is flexed. That way we're engaging the hamstring all the way through. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it on up there. We're going to pulse. So that movement is not in that knee. So if you're finding yourself pushing through the leg itself, don't. We're pushing through the glute. So right there, it should almost feel like you're squeezing the glute up and up, not the leg. The leg is just supposed to be dead weight at this point. So it's the same as lifting that weight with the glute instead of having the leg help. Make sure you're breathing. You're engaging that core. You're staying nice and squared. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on down. Place those weights off to the side. Step back in child's pose. Lean from side to side in those hips. Stretch out that glute just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and get into the core part. So, classic ballet abs, ballet bar abs are going to be here. Now, an option available is taking a weight, whether it's the heavier weight that you have or the 2 light weights that you have, either or. I'll probably use a mixture of both so you guys can see. But you're going to be here. So we're going to come down nice and low to your lowest point. Now, if you would like a pillow, you can place that back behind you as well. But we're going to be here. Our hands are going to be either here, or if you have a weight, your weight's going to be here, so up on the chest. So we're going to lean back as far as we can, and then back up, but not all the way up. So you want that constant sort of shake in your core. Make sure you're breathing. It's a very small movement, so about an inch or so up, inch or so down. So it's nice and easy. If you are doing this without the weight and you're feeling like you're kind of hitting your lower back just a little bit, feel free to hold on to the backs of your legs. Don't pull yourself off with them, but use it as kind of like a light support, just until we can get that core strength there. These abs are very brutal, so take your time with these. I'm building up that strength here. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stay in this low position. Our hands are going to be here. I'll show you what to do if you want to use the weights, but we're going to tilt and then back. So now we're engaging those obliques, so the side abs here. If you would like to, you may add weights to this as well. Just holding 2 light weights in each arm and bringing them back just like this. Make sure you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice little twist. So make sure that those hips are staying nice and still. The feet and the knees are not moving with you. But we got 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Make sure you get both sides evenly though. So if you did the right, make sure you do the left. Place those weights off to the side. We will not need them anymore. We're gonna hit lower core. So we're gonna lay here nice and flat on our backs. Place the hands, if you want, underneath the tush. If you don't need them there, place them right beside you. Either way is fine. We're gonna lift those legs straight up, pointing the toes. We're gonna bring them down to your lowest point, into tabletop. So see how my tabletop is not tucked? It's right here, right? and lift up those legs all the way. So we're coming all the way down, tabletop, lift, and down. So once you get the motion, it should feel like a nice fluid movement here. Challenge yourself each time to get down just a little bit lower while still keeping that lower back on the floor. We don't want it to come up or start to arch when we bring the legs down, because then that means that the lower back is working and not your lower abs. So we want those lower abs to be working here. Keep it pressing, keep it moving. We're almost there, I promise. Lift, lower, tabletop, and up. Let's do this again for like 3 more times here. So we got 3, 2, and then 1. So all the way back down, all the way to tabletop, all the way back up. Now from here, we're going to drop to tabletop, shift them completely out, and then all the way back up. So all we're doing now is reversing that motion. Again, keeping that lower back on the ground. So we're not using that lower back, we're using the lower core. So exact same type of movement, just the opposite. So we're bringing it down to tabletop before tucking the legs under to then push out to its low point here. And your low point doesn't have to be almost to the ground. If this is your low point and then back up, that is totally fine. You're going to feel this in your lower abs, whether you're here, 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 or here. You got it. Push it through. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath during core work. I know it's easier said than done, but don't do it. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I want to make sure my timer in my mind is right. All right, so we're going to now flip over and go into some planks, because what is bar without planks? So go ahead and flip. I want you to find a nice low plank position here. So we're going to be right here. Now, if you're not here yet, feel free to drop down to those ankles. To those ankles. My recordings this week have been hilarious. All right, so drop down to those knees and just start with just a nice gentle hold. I want you to still have a flat back. Make sure you're breathing. So keep on holding. So make sure that that back is straight. Shift into those shoulders, but still pushing back into those heels, just to really elongate your body here. Really give that core a nice, good stretch out to the point where that muscle has to work all the way through. Keep holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it on down. Press back into child's pose. Nice deep breaths here. We're going to stretch back out into one more type of plank, just because I feel like those obliques just didn't get hit enough, at least from yesterday's class and then Monday's class. Oh gosh, we did so many of these, but I want you to hop up onto that plank one more time, and we're going to dip those hips. Now, this can be done on the knees. Just be careful, because that motion on that knee is not going to be good for it if you're on a hard surface, like a hardwood floor like this. Make sure you have a padding or something there, or if you feel any sort of discomfort, just hold a normal plank. But for this, we're here. So we're tapping those hips down to the floor. So it's just tap, 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 tap. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on down. Stretch out in the child's pose. Inch those fingers just a little bit further this time. Take some nice deep breaths here. Tucking that head. Very gently press up. We're going to sit up into a nice, you can either do a full straddle or a half straddle. It's all up to you. I'm going to do a half straddle, so that just means that your foot is going to be placed up against your thigh here versus them completely out. Pick whichever side you want to do first. We'll do both, but reach up and over to that leg right over here. Very gently, whenever you're ready, you're just going to turn your body to face your knee. So before coming up, you're just going to walk yourself down to the center here. So stay nice and low. Make sure that hip is still pressed back. Inching those fingers just a little bit more in front of you each time. Very gently walk yourself up one vertebrae at a time, and then very gently switch the legs out. So one leg's gonna go out, one leg's gonna go in. We're just gonna lift up and over and reach. Very gently, whenever you're ready, you're gonna turn the body to face the knee. And before coming up, you're just gonna walk yourself down to the center here. So even if you're still in like a full straddle, just make sure that those hips are pressed back. We're not rolling them forward, we're keeping them back. That's where you're gonna get that nice inner thigh stretch here. You might even feel a little bit through the hip. Very gently walk yourself up. If you would like to, you can crisscross applesauce like I do, just because I feel it a little bit more there. Or you can place the soles of the feet together. We're just going to walk on out. One more time, getting a nice, good, deep stretch right in that inner thigh. Maybe a little bit in the glutes, which we just kind of worked there for a little short period of time. I try not to make it too glute heavy. It's really, really hard to do with bar. And very gently walk on up. You know, roll the head off to one side, down to the center, off to the other side and around. Roll one more time, but the opposite direction. Bring your head and your spine up to center. Deep breath in and hold. And release. And that was bar. I'm going to stop the recording here, but if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to unmute yourselves and we can talk. I'm gonna stop the recording. Have a good one.
Good class, Becca. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Thanks, Joy.
Thanks, Becca. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.